It has been 2 years since Momoshiki has returned to the story of Two Blue Vortex. I low-key thought he was gonna pull up like 50 Cent, especially when he came out the pen, stacked and jacked. Bro was really out here moping, like he found out his girl Christina was actually Chris. I'll leave it like that. Boruto has given Momoshiki an offer he cannot refuse. It's almost like a red pill, blue pill situation. Blue pill, you stay a bum and you get killed off, no pushback. Red pill, you spin the block, y'all jump Jura together with the tiny minimal chance of actually taking him out. I mean, the choice is yours. At this point, I kind of do wonder, is Momoshiki gonna finally train Boruto? Momoshiki may actually show him how to fight like a true Otsutsuki. At this point, you never know. Now, this is all speculation on the assumption that Momoshiki decides to take the offer. And let's be real, it's either this or he goes back in the pen. Can't take over Boruto's body, and at this point, he's just a local bum or window shopper outside the Gucci store asking the clerk how much the clothes be costing, knowing full well he ain't gonna buy shit. But on the assumption he takes the offer, I feel like Momoshiki may actually show Boruto how to utilize his body a lot more. And to be frank with you, the only reason why I came to this conclusion was really based on the idea that I know Momoshiki wants to be free, probably more than anything. Boruto won't let him take over his mind or his body. The least he can do is actually train him like a real Otsutsuki. But either way, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join the notification. Yeah, I have no follow through for that. Momoshiki has nothing to lose at this point, so if he doesn't do it, he's definitely dead. If he does do it, there's a possibility he could be dead. The difference between definitely dead and then possibly being dead, it's almost like the difference between putting nails on the board and building a house. I think the most interesting part will be when Kawaki finds out that Boruto struck this deal, assuming it goes through. But if Boruto thought that Kawaki wanted him dead before, wait till he sees how much more dead he wants to see him now. Let's talk about that. So, training Ike? So when we look at Boruto pre and post time skip, more pre time skip, especially with his opponents and his feats. Since he became an Otsutsuki and Momoshiki was able to take over his body, his feats in regards to what he's been able to do and the improvements in his abilities utilizing his karma has literally skyrocketed his power tenfold. It's almost like when they fought against Boro, and then Boro's powers, I won't say went out of control, but basically he just went into Megazord mode. Boruto was getting squashed like a bug. And Momoshiki pulls up, he takes a little bit of Naruto's chakra, and then he proceeds to dog walk Boro. Giant Rasendan. I would like to sit here and really hammer in the point where Momoshiki was fighting Kawaki and Code, not at the same time, but these were two separate fights. But I like the way that Momoshiki was able to utilize Boruto's abilities in a more versatile type of way. So for example, when he utilized the Rasendan, and that was one variation, he utilized the giant Rasengan, which he was about to use against Naruto. Yeah, I ain't gonna hold you. Imagine getting taken out by your own technique. It's your technique. I would assume you know how to block that joint too. But hey, some people can't block it. It's almost like the Kamehameha. Cell almost hit Goku with that joint. Despite him winning those exchanges, Boruto had a massive power boost. And it makes you sit there and think, Boruto at base level, he was still catching a hot one from Jura. But clearly he's in a league of his own. Enough to the point where he is a genuine threat and a full menace, to the point where Jura sat there and was like, nah, I gotta take you out because you're gonna be a whole problem. Now, Boruto has a sword, how would Momoshiki utilize that sword? He now has lightning release. He's always had lightning release, but now he's able to utilize his abilities in a variety of ways. The Uzuhiko, what is that going to look like? And even the change in chakra nature and manipulation, it makes me sit there and think, how is Momoshiki going to effectively utilize Boruto's abilities now after all that training he's done? Especially now that Boruto knows the flying Raijin. So I definitely sit here and I'm constantly curious about what the next step is for Boruto once he completes his training. Well, I don't really think it'd be training. He'll just tap into his karma, but I feel like Momoshiki probably gonna give him a couple hints, considering they will probably be collaborative partners. I mean, you don't have to like the people you work with, you just have to work with them. So I think that's the direction that this is going to next. And honestly, Momoshiki's depression is probably something that I just didn't see coming, especially because when Boruto sat there and said the last time he used his karma, Momoshiki went completely silent. I do find that a little interesting, but what I also find interesting is that he was able to tap into the inner universe where he went to go see Momoshiki. Momoshiki was just there. He was just moping, almost like when, you know, Thor should have gone for the head. I definitely think that with this new desire and drive in regards to being free and potentially having Boruto's body, I don't think he's going to get Boruto's body because I don't think they're going to defeat Jura. But I think this will give him a new purpose in life to do something else, because at this point, yeah, he was a menace to the point where he was the Sukuna of the story. You couldn't really predict what he was doing. And at this point, anybody could get it with him. So at one point, he was fighting Naruto, he was fighting Sasuke, and then he took Sasuke's eye out. He was out here trying to take out Naruto, but then he was also trying to fight Code too. And then he fought with Kawaki. So at this point, he's almost like the third party that just intercepts anything at this point, and you don't really know where they're going. But I think this is a good opportunity to really give him a solid purpose, or a new direction, or a new purpose for what he could do next with himself. So I'm looking forward to that. The next part that'll probably be interesting is Kawaki's reaction. So Kawaki's desire to protect Naruto is out of love. And I mean, the driving factor and the theme of Shippuden was really based on reversing the cycle of hate. This one seems more like the cycle of love, because that's what really seems like the focus here. What I find interesting is that Kawaki's willing to go to such extremes to protect Naruto, to the point where he's like, once I've gotten rid of all the Otsutsuki, I'll happily let Naruto back into the world, and yo, I'll take myself out too. And I was like, whoa, you're kind of doing a little much, my boy. But I mean, I love that for you, I guess. Kawaki's ambition and his pride are strong, to the point where now I sit there and I genuinely contemplate, okay, so if this is the move that you're about to do next, once you allegedly get rid of Boruto, gonna happen after that? Like, I mean, you just let Naruto back and you're like, oh, basically I handled everything and you have no son. I mean, it's clearly not gonna go like that, and he will realize the error of his ways, in the sense of, yes, you can care for people, but you ain't got to be doing the most about it. I think in regards to Kawaki, it's going to be interesting seeing him navigate once Boruto's able to tap into his karma comfortably, and when he's actually there fighting with Boruto against Jura. Because despite the fact that Kawaki didn't really have Jura on the ropes, he was just kind of sizing him out, to the point where Kawaki was doing his thing. And I mean, clearly he's stronger. He definitely didn't max out or anything, but he was at a point where he was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna run a low-key fade. But the intent wasn't to take out Jura, it was to keep him preoccupied. So I'm definitely curious to see how things are gonna play out in regards to how they're gonna navigate actually fighting him. But I feel like Kawaki and Boruto will be due for another power-up once they realize that their karma levels ain't gonna be nothing against Jura. But that's all speculation, of course. But Either way, chapter 6 is en route. I'm guessing probably by next week we'll probably have the first teaser page, so I'm definitely gonna cover that. But yeah, either way, what did you think of last chapter? What do you think is gonna happen in the next chapter? Either way, like, comment, subscribe, and I'm gonna holler at y'all later, man. Peace.